Dhyan takes you into the more subtle, more softer aspect of your existence as you go deeper into the bliss state. Your existence becomes soft, firm, unmoving, steady, and in charge of yourself. You become silence. You don't become silent. You become the silence. You are the silence. Silence is you. Silence is your nature. Silence has its soft beauty. Once you experience that, then you can tell the difference between the softness of the silence and the harshness of the words. Even the words becomes hard. Almost you reach to the spot where you feel there is no need to speak. Speaking is destroying the inner silence. And as you observe further, even the thoughts become effortful. Even thoughts have harshness attached to themselves. Thoughts are material because they deal with matter. They have their weight. The weight of the thoughts, you can't tell because we are in it. We become the thoughts. Through the thoughts, we connect to the body and the mind. Through the thoughts, we become the body. We become the mind. Because thoughts are beliefs. And these are all illusions. Body keeps on changing, mind keeps on changing. Yet under the foolishness, we attach our thoughts, thinking that I am the body, I am the mind. So thoughts are material. And thoughts are there to fulfill your desires. If you look at it, every action at the physical level and thoughts at the mind level, there is no difference. And then thoughts preceded by your desires, vrittis and vasanas. These are solid desires. These are the solid entities that exist within you. And when you are an observer of all these vrittis, vasanas, desires, thoughts, beliefs, actions, you observe that and you find your soft silence, which is infinite. omnipotent, omnipresent, and you realize the futility of all these actions. A honeybee is born and is filled with desire to propagate. The desire to propagate is built in by the nature to propagate the species. But nevertheless, it is a desire, not like a human desires, which is beyond the natural desires. And yet it's a desire. He is compelled to act. Spiders mate. A scientific show was showing how the males are filled with inner desire to mate, and even if that means death, because female spiders will kill them if she didn't like the male. Even with that possibility, males keep on advancing, and after the mating, definitely the males are killed. Despite all that, the advancement of the males continue. This shows the innermost desire to propagate. The bees, the spiders, the animals, they are all endowed with the same desire, innate desire, that is within humans also. It precedes the humans. Desires were there even before mankind came into existence. The eyes that humans have, they were the same eyes with a little different appearance. But the structure of the eye was present millions and millions of years ago. Some animals desire to see, to perceive, so that it can find a prey. It can find its way to look for food. Ultimately, the eyes were created because of the innate desire to survive. Similarly, a lot of fish have been found living in the caves where they took the shelter so that they don't become a prey to the large predators. Just to escape that, they decided to live inside the caves. And inside the caves, eyes are not necessary. So they disappear over the generations. The eyes disappears, and the subsequent generations are totally fine inside the caves, inside the darkness, as long as they get their food, they survive. And we look at them and we get surprised how they can survive without eyes. All our sense organs are the results of millions and millions of animals' desire, and we call it ours. It cannot be anything more stupid than this. We are the results of evolution. Every single action that we are performing, even our desires are not our own. Desires to survive is very ancient. The bees, the spiders cannot rise above these natural desires. They cannot do dhyan. But dhyan is a unique capacity of our humans, which has evolved after the efforts of some souls who found out the new state of existence which is within all the human beings. As long as we are gonna be crowded with harsh desires, thoughts, actions, we are not going to be able to see this elevated state of mind, the Buddha Tattva. But it is there. As you go deeper into the meditation, your soft, smooth, firm, omnipresent state comes alive in a very expanded state. In that expanded state, you can see how your mind has been generating the desires. Desires are the weapons created by the nature for the survival of the species. But when you reach to the elevated position of consciousness, you realize the repetitiveness of these actions, which has been backed up by the desires. You see the repetitiveness in the nature. You see the repetitiveness in the samsara. You see the repetitiveness everywhere. And yet, the ultimate destination still seems to be ending up in this silence and come out of the illusion that we are going anywhere. Through the desires and the actions, we are not going anywhere. But we are remaining illusioned into believing that I am doing something. In the expanded state of consciousness, where there is no motion, you are totally steady. You see the dance of the desires, thoughts, beliefs, actions in front of you. And all that is included within your expanded state of consciousness. So the state of consciousness is almost like a piece of wood, a big log, which is natural, and it's sitting without any motion. It is firm inside, and it's filled of wood until someone comes and carves a statue of Krishna from it, or go backwards and someone comes up and makes the statue of demon out of it. Again go backwards. Someone comes, creates a bear out of it. Someone creates a bird out of it. So that log of wood was filled of infinite possibilities. Whatever it could imagine, it could have been. The same log of wood is what we are, except for the difference. We are conscious. We are full of consciousness. But just like the log of wood, we are filled with infinite possibilities. Whatever we desire, we can be. But it's all contained within that block of consciousness, which is so huge, but it is unmoving. So all the motions are located within this consciousness. In a Purnamada state where you are complete, only infinite can be complete. You can see the incompleteness of the sequence of desires, thoughts, and actions. Once I was visiting Nova Scotia to a beautiful place called Peggy's Cove, which is so many boulders right next to a crystal clear ocean. On a bright sunny day, we reached there. Me and my son were jumping on the rocks and the boulders. We saw a tidal pool where some water was trapped from the previous tide and had left with some animals floating around. We were looking at a shrimp which was totally oblivious to the outside world, picking up a grain of sand, putting somewhere else, going back, picking up another grain of sand. What it looked like, it was trying to make a place to live, a house of its own. And we were looking at it, and it was not even aware of us. Our life becomes like that. We are gripped with desires. We are gripped with thoughts. We are gripped with actions. We never ask ourselves, why are we doing this? In the state of full consciousness, you see the futility of these actions. Futility from evolution point of view. From nature's point of view, it is necessary. The procreation is necessary. Desires to advance the species is necessary until every soul reaches the Buddhatva state. And they will someday. Until then, we have to pursue our journey to rise above the tricks of the nature and understand the futility of the desires, which is not gonna take you to any salvation. It is not gonna take you to liberation. Every thought, every bhav we have, every thought we have, every desire we have is the desire to connect into the world and remain attached to the world. And these are the bondages. If we can observe all these things not even have a desire to end the desires because they are futile. Just observe them. And like a third party, see yourself acting in the world, not condemning the world, not condemning your desires, not condemning your mind. You just remain an observer with the ocean of peace within you, and you still act. At that point, the only final wish or desire comes is, how come everyone else doesn't get it? The only wish that is born out of karuna for the Buddhatva, for the whole universe. So much for today. Have a good